Hello and welcome to Sunstar Knits. I am Eleanor and this is my podcast episode for February. It's going to be a bit of a short one because I only have one finished object, 2 whips, and a couple of acquisitions as well as my trip to talk about. And I don't have a whole lot of time. I've got 30 minutes to film right now. We'll start with my finished object. One I literally just finished. So I participated in Finish It February. And my goals were to finish the body part of a shawl I had started back in June of 2024, to finish my dad's birthday present, which was a sweater. He, before his birthday, which was last Wednesday, that did not happen. I literally finished it today. And to finish the sleeve on my Bernadette blouse. I have some thoughts on that. That is not one of my whips today. So I finished, I've not weaved in, I've not blocked, but I have finished his sweater. It is so long. I had to add, I think, 4 inches to the body just because of his body length. And I feel like my tension in the color work up here sucks, but I'm hoping that'll block out nice. I have to do some lengthening on the sleeves for blocking, and I have to block the body a bit wider because he wears most of his sweaters over an undershirt and a button down. So it's got to be a bit wider to accommodate that extra layers. But he tried it on yesterday. And he gave me those critiques before it was finished, so he hasn't seen it finished, so it's going to be squirreled away upstairs, and I'm going to show him later tonight. Ugh. Something's the matter with our water. It tastes like dirt. So for that sweater, that is the Breeze sweater by Lassie Matberg. I have it as part of my Viking Knits books. It is the first book pattern I have finished from that book, but there are a good few other that I have sticky noted that I want to make. I think that's 4, maybe 5 that I think this is going to be my next one. I love that one. That's a sunburst sweater, but I did a size large for him to fit his chest. I don't know how many balls of yarn I've used, but I used the Drops Lima, which is a DK weight yarn. The recommended needle are 4mm, and it is 65% wool, 35% alpaca. I believe I used red and then I think white natural. The colors are 3609, and I don't have a ball band, so whatever. White. It is not the off-white. It is the true white of that. So I did have to size down my needle, so it recommends the suggested needles for the pattern are 5mm and 6mm. So I ended up using a 5mm for the main knitting, and then a 4.5mm for the ribbing. It made me actually have an idea for a sweater, this ribbing, because it's this striped 2x2 ribbing, and because this sweater is obviously red and white, and I was doing most of the knitting around after Thanksgiving, Christmas time, beginning of December. It made me come up with an idea for you would do that ribbing, and then you would have a candy cane like make that the body of the candy cane, and so you do a couple more rows and then do a swoosh, and then do like a candy cane across the yoke to make like a candy cane sweater. But I don't think I could ever model a sweater. So I really, really like this. I did kind of a mismatch. So the men in this book, there is for this specific Breeze sweater, not every sweater, it's 40 patterns. Some of them are the same sweater. They're just for men, women, and children, or men and children, women and children, that type of thing. So it's not 40 different, it is 40 different patterns, but it's not 40 different designs. So this is the Breeze sweater and it has 3 patterns. So this was the look for the men's, all over color work. He didn't like that look. He saw this. I'm gonna cover up let's do this, because this is, we're getting into the pattern part. So he saw this photo, which is a picture of the men and women's, because these are the photos, women's one, and he really liked the color work for the women's. So, and then we were looking at other photos online, and he saw ones that had the colorwork design around the sleeves and the bottom. So I added that on, and then I did the colorwork chart for the women's sweater. So highly recommend this book, though I do recommend it for more advanced knitters, because literally the oh no, this is too far. The pattern for this sweater is quite literally, it's 1 page, and then you've got this like half page with the colorwork chart. So it's literally 1 page of instructions. So it's definitely for more advanced knitters. One of my acquisitions and my whip is this. If you have been watching my shorts, you will know that I backslid for my Finish It February goals. And I bought the Musselburgh hat pattern. So I did backslide on my pattern reduced by, but I'm not going to count as a backslid because I finished the porcelain sweater last month. So I'm considering it my like 1 in, 1 out, which I'm allowing myself to do. So I bought the Musselburgh pattern and it's pretty close to being finished. So I'm really happy with that. I started this, I think, on the 12th. It is now the 23rd. So it's been about 2 weeks, a little under 2 weeks. And I've got all of the brim and I'm starting on the body of the second hat. I am using the sock set I got from Ruby and Roses. This is the color Water Lily. It's not available anymore. I checked. I don't know what this brown color is called. But yes, so I have a lot of it done. I'm super happy. I'm really happy because I started marking my progress because I was getting kind of discouraged because I couldn't see the progress in the stockinette. But that was 1 day's worth of progress. So I'm going to move it, and this will be my new main whip. So that was whip number 2. I'm really liking it. It's a pretty easy pattern to read. I really like that they have the color blocking because I wanted to use this contrast color for the brim, and I was able to do that because she had those like diagrams in there and those numbers in there. So, and I'm just like in love with this colorway. I'm kind of sad because at the bottom here, they started getting some color blocking in the last probably like 10-ish rows, but I'm loving the top part, and I'm pretty sure that most of that will be covered. It's just like when you've got all of these pretty colors, having them jumped together and then having these giant blocks of like blue, when I was kind of hoping it would be more like this top where there's some stripes and stuff. And it's way more standing out on camera. The colors are very true, very true. I actually took a photo. I might insert it if I have time. Oh, this sequence right here. So this line of colors, I absolutely love the gradient on those. It happens a couple times throughout, but yes, I'm just in love with these colors. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2, I technically don't have needles on it, but it is still a whip. It is another Finish It February goal that I met. So I've met 2 of my 3. So, 70%? I don't know, something. I've met most of them. I'm passing on them. Is my Roman Villa shawl. I started this back in June before we went to Italy because I was kind of wanting to like finish it before Italy because it's called the Roman Villa shawl. And it's got these nice mosaic color work patterns as well as kind of these like I would call them cables. I think some people would call them faux cables, but this is like a nice flower design. This is just kind of your traditional cable looking design. So the reason I'm calling this a whip, even though it is a finish shawl, is because I still have to do 2 on the bottom here. So like across the bottom, I have to do 2 mosaic colorwork blocks and then an I-cord bind off to finish this off. But my Finish It February goal was literally just to finish knitting the sweater portion or the shawl, the main body of the shawl portion, which I was able to do. So I am very pleased with that. Again, I told you this was going to be a super quick video. That is all of the knitting I have to talk about. As I said in my January, sorry, I just hit the microphone. In my January podcast, checking that my microphone has battery because I've done that before where it's lost battery, so there's been no sound on a video. It's very sad. So I have 1 yarn related acquisition and then 2 just souvenirs. I technically have 3 souvenirs, but one of them is a ring and it's upstairs, and I'm kind of disappointed with it because it's already messed up. The soldering on the back here has come undone, so sad, but it was kind of a cheap ring, so I'm fine with it. So I got a ring. I'm going to do the yarn ones first. I got this pretty crow print called 2 Crows. It is by Gisli print by Rona Imes, I believe. This is the back. I don't know if you can read that because it'll be inverted, but if you really care, you can figure it out. I don't know. I think there is a website on the back here, so if you really want one. So that's just 2 crows because I like crows. I think they're cool. I would love to befriend some crows, but I have yet to do so. And then this is a print of Arthur's seat. It is a I'm not going to say very famous, but it's a famous like hill. I live in the mountains. It was kind of like it was a pretty big hill. It was kind of a hill. So this is Arthur's seat over here, and this is the mountains. The back has a very nice thing. It is based on the weather. I just found it very pretty because it looks kind of like a storm rolling in at sunset. So I was very, very pretty with that. And here's the back. It's by Esther Cohen, the Corey Boothie shoppy. She has both Facebook, Instagram, and website. I might figure out how to do that. I don't know. I don't know how to figure out inverted stuff. I'm not that tech savvy. So those are the 2 prints I got. I also got a ring. And my sister also got some prints. I might just be slideshowing some photos because I didn't take a lot of photos. She took way more. And those are both from Edinburgh. And then this we got in Glasgow. So we went to 2 separate yarn shops, one in Edinburgh, one in Glasgow. We had to walk really far for the one in Glasgow, and I was actually kind of disappointed. I'm not going to drop names, one, because I don't remember, and 2, because, like, I don't know why. They don't need that, whatever. Because I'm primarily, I think it had like wool in the name, and literally all of the yarns were acrylic, or like mostly acrylic. There wasn't even any like cotton or anything, and I really don't like working with acrylic anymore. I use mostly metal needles, and acrylics like squeaks on the needles, and it is almost infuriating. So the only thing that was wool, and mainly wool, was this. So this is some superwash sock yarn from Wool and Craft. It is this beautiful like purples with some pinks and some greens and blues. My sister also got a ball of this. She is really into sock knitting. Like, she loves socks. It was literally her first thing she knit. Oh no, okay, no. She knit a scarf and then immediately went into a pair of socks and is now knitting another pair of socks. So it is 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, machine wash, cold rinse, all that stuff. So I'm hoping I now have 3 balls of sock yarn, or 4 balls of sock yarn. One of them is going to be turned into a muscle bear hat. So, yes. So my trip was really fun. It was really exhausting. We did so much walking. Literally, the walk to this shop, because one, I didn't want to pay for a bus ticket. It was stupid. We should have paid for a bus ticket. Was like 30 minutes of walking, additionally to what we had already done for everything else that day. So that was not fun, but it was really nice, and like it was cool to see all the buildings and the different stuff. And Glasgow, I didn't know this, but Glasgow, the people, like the attitude of the people and the architecture, other than like their buildings are as skyscrapery, literally reminds me so much of New York. I spent a week in New York like 4 or 5 years ago, probably close to 6 or 7 years ago now. I was in middle school, so at least I think I was in middle school. I don't know. Reminded me so much of New York, and then I told this to my sister, and she's like, yeah, dummy. It's literally used as a location to film stuff that looks like it's in New York without like being in New York. Oh, I totally forgot. Also on that trip, I could go get it, but I'm not going to because short on time. But my sister booked us a spinning class, so I learned how to use a drop spindle, and in the class you were given 3 different like tufts or little things of roving to learn, and one of them was Shetland, another was Merino, and the third I think was Jacob something J wool. And I really hated the Merino. I get why people who are spinning say don't learn to spin with Merino. I loved the Shetland. The Merino stuck to itself so badly that like it was hard. If you know anything about spinning, you have to draft the yarn so that it like, or the fiber to get it thinner. So if you want thinner yarn, you have to draft it thinner. And it was so hard to draft, and that yarn is so thick in like my little ball that I have. And I spun all of it up on that trip and like over the next 3 days after the class. And it was literally like, I did not like the Merino. I really liked the Shetland and the other one. And then we were given or included in the class, because my sister didn't know. She literally just thought it was a class, and then we would probably have to buy a drop spindle and then yarn, and we were okay with that. But included in the class was we got a drop spindle, so they like let us included in the class, we got a drop spindle. We got 50 grams of our choice of color Shetland braid of roving, and then we got a tote bag. So that was really nice. So yes, that was really fun. Very good trip. Would love to go back and explore the Highlands more, because we literally only went to Edinburgh and Glasgow. We were supposed to go on a tour of the Highlands the first day we were there, but then Storm Éowyn came through, and so the whole country of Scotland closed down, and everything was closed between the hours of 10 and 5. So there was no public transportation. Everything was canceled, and it was warranted because on the west side, and the side closest to Ireland and stuff, just got pummeled by wind and rain and stuff. And we took a little walk and then also got pummeled by wind and rain, but not horribly. So that was my trip. Plans. I do have plans. So I think I'm going. Oh wait, another acquisition. So the Kintra came out, and as part of, I signed up for the Creabea's newsletter for the stick season cardigan to get a discount for launch weekend. So I also bought the Kintra pattern, but I got 15% off, which I got £1 off, which is I think $1.25 right now, something like that. I got for a pattern a significant amount off. I only paid £5 for the pattern, I think, £5 something. So I'm okay with that, and the fact that I just finished the breeze, I will consider that my zeroed out, and I'm going to try really hard not to buy another pattern next month, and just work through the patterns I have. So yes, I'm planning on making a Kintra. I don't know when. That is a plan. I also have so much of this yarn left over. I was realizing when I realized I had so much of this yarn left over, I have enough to make another sweater if I make the white the main color. So I think that's what I'm going to do. There's a couple drops patterns that I really like the designs for. So I think I'm going to make another colorwork sweater with for myself, with a free drops pattern. Thing with my Bernadette blouse, I'm absolutely hating the way the ribbing on the arm looks. So I think I'm going to put it into hiatus. It might be getting frogged, but I think I already know I have way too much yarn. I did not need to buy that extra 3 skeins. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the extra 3 skeins and knit another Irene. Nope. Not Irene. Hold on, let me pull out my computer and look at it. It's the pattern designer's name is Irene. It's a tank top with lace design and then a crochet picot border. I made, in my very first podcast episode, I made the t-shirt version of it. And there's a t-shirt and a tank top version, so you can either add sleeves or not add sleeves. And I decided to add sleeves. I used that yarn. The yarn I used was from the Shona top. Okay, but the yarn I used was yarn I had bought in Switzerland for the Shona top. And I technically also bought this yarn. I bought half this yarn in Switzerland, and the other half I supplemented to make sure I had enough for my original plans. But I want to make the tank top version. I have to go to work, so that's my work bag. But I want to make the tank top version of it. I think that's the yarn I'm going to use. So I think that'll be my first spring stuff. Technically, I've got one more month of winter, March, but I think I'm gonna fill that with my novice cardigan. But the more I'm looking at that yarn, the more I'm hating the color, and I can't return it because Knit Pick's return policy is like kind of horrendous. So I'm just kind of putting it off. And I think I'm going to just make it into a simple kind of new any free pattern I can find for a bulky weight stockinette sweater, just like simple, and then I'm going to over dye it with a different color because it's 100% non-superwash wool, so over dyeing it should be fine. So that's my plan there. So I think I'm going to do that next month. I'm going to start that. Because I think I want to have at least one garment. Sorry, I'm starting to put stuff away. One garment on my needles. And I kind of want to get more into... I'm moving to a place in the... Like, I'm moving towns in the summer. And they actually have, like, pretty hot weather in the summers where I'm moving. Like, I'm moving to a desert, so it's gonna be pretty hot, and I'm a little nervous because I don't do well with heat. So I want to make some stuff that I can wear in the heat because it's an alpine desert, so it's got the heat in the summer and then the cold in the winter. It doesn't snow a lot because the mountains catch most of it, but it gets cold. So I think I'm going to do the bulky weight sweater next. And then after that, I'll do the drop sweater. And then also probably at the same time as those two sweaters, have my Shona tank on the needles as well, working on that. So yeah. You are now all caught up. I know this was late, but I wanted it to be more towards the end of the month. Still on a Monday, so the last Monday of the month. I think I'm going to just because of the finish at February. I might not have a second, like, beginning of the month video just because I don't have any ideas. I might do a weekly vlog. I might do spring knitting plans, but I really don't think I want to do too many knitting plans anymore because I just like don't finish them or I just don't stick to them. Or did pretty good with my fall one, but yes, so might do that, might do knit and chat, but I'm thinking I'm gonna do a weekly vlog, but that's a big maybe. So I will see you next time. Bye.